Hi and welcome to day 2. This is an introduction to decision statements and control flow. In this video, we'll be looking at the solutions to your homework questions from day 1. And I'll be going through it step by step. Although I've prepared the answers and I'm sure that you were able to write the classes and run the program. So let's go and have a look at question number 1. Right, this was the question. Write a complete Java application called Homework 1 that will print the following output to the screen. We asked you to use the system.out.println, and some imagination was required here, where we used the plus operator and we used probably the minus operator here to produce a little bit of fancy framework here. Right, here is the code for question 1. And what I asked you was to design a class called Homework 1, and I trusted you were able to do that. There we have it. And of course, it would make a homework1.java file. All right, you can see that this particular question consists of a number of system.out.printlns. And everything that you look at here is between double quotes. So everything with a string. We used a couple of special characters to create a fancy border. We used the plus operator and the minus operator to create these borders. This one here was the shift backslash, which is, they call it the pipe character. And then, of course, we had the information, which represented a menu system printout, for example. But anyway, I hope that you got something similar and you used it and you had some insight into the printout to the screen using this particular method, because that was the whole aim of this particular exercise. Okay, that leaves us with one thing left to do. Let's go and run this program and see what the output looks like. And again, if you had something slightly different, no worries. As long as you got the gist of it, that's fine. So I'm going to run the program. I trust you know how to run this. And let's have a look. And yeah, this looks something similar to what I have there. So that was question 1. Right, now we get to question 2. And what I wanted you to do here is I wanted you to write a Java application called Homework 2. And what we were going to do is declare 4 variables of type double. They were to be called A, B, C, and answer. And then what I want you to do is I wanted you to write some values to these named memory locations. And we were going to assign values 10, 3, 14, and then would set up answer to 0.0. And then what we wanted to do, number 1, is we wanted to calculate A multiplied by B plus 2 multiplied by B, and that was in parentheses. And I was just wondering if you could have worked out the answer on a piece of paper before you allowed the application to work it out for you. It would have been interesting. And then the second part was a little more challenging, because this was a test, and I wanted you to declare a variable of type Boolean. And first up, we were going to assign a value of false to it. And then what we were going to do is we're going to write a test that tested whether B was less than A or whether A was greater than 14. And what we were going to do is assign the result to a Boolean and see what the result was. And then what I asked you to do was to print the results of the 2 operations to the screen. So let's go to the code and have a look what the results were. Right, here we are at the code. And as you can see from here, I was hoping that you were able to create your class Homework 2. And of course, that would have created homework2.java. And just by the way, if you see that little star, don't forget to save. You can save over here. And we have all our declarations. So you can see the declaration and assignment all on one line. And we did that for all 5 of the required variables. And then what we did is we assigned answer A multiplied by B plus 2 times B in parentheses. And we went and you used our favorite little method to print to the screen. And we said the answer is equal to, and we asked to read from this name memory location, whatever the answer was, and we concatenated to that. And then we went and said, okay, here's our name memory location is true of type Boolean, and we said, well, listen, test this. B less than A or A greater than 14. I would suggest that that might be true. And then what we'll do is we'll sort of like print this out so it makes some sense. And we'll read the result from that name memory location and concatenate it to there. Right, let's execute this program as per normal and find out what the value is. And there we have it. So that turns out to be 36, and this turns out to be true. Hey, and I hope you got the answer and you understood how it worked. Right, the last question that we gave you, we said write a complete Java application called Homework 3. This application converts Fahrenheit to Celsius and Celsius to Fahrenheit. Pretty easy going, I thought. Declare 3 variables of type double and assign values of your choice. Then complete at least one conversion from Fahrenheit to Celsius and one from Celsius to Fahrenheit. And I gave you the formulas to make life easy, and I asked you to print the results of the two operations on the screen. So let's go and have a look at what we meant by this in code. Right, here we have the code for the Celsius to Fahrenheit and Fahrenheit to Celsius program, which is your question 3. And I trust again that you're able to create your class Homework 3. It's getting pretty easy. It's the same recipe every time, isn't it? And I think once you've done a good few of these, it becomes second nature. Well, I thought that you needed to create yourself some variables. I created one for Fahrenheit and one for Celsius and one for answer, all of type double, because I think that that was appropriate. And what I did is I chose 32 for both, and I'll tell you why I did that. I know that 32 degrees Fahrenheit, I know by heart that that should be about 0 degrees Celsius. Not about, I know it is. And I also know that 32 degrees Celsius is around 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So if I used those values and I printed them out and I got to somewhere near the correct answers, I'd know that my formulas were correct. All right, or the use of the formulas at least were correct. Then what I did is I said, all right, let me do a Fahrenheit to Celsius conversion. So I went along and I used the formula. Now notice I put in the Fahrenheit, which is 32, and I did the calculation. Please note what I did. Make sure that you do it like this, that you do put 0.0 in, because you might have got some odd results had you not done that. You might have sort of found yourself a little bit at odds. But anyway, of course, 32 minus 32 is going to be 0. And you can do what you like here. Anything multiplied by 0 will give you 0. So the output should be 0. And here I converted from Celsius to Fahrenheit. And of course, I did that again. Notice my use of parentheses because I wanted the division done first and then multiplied by C. And of course, then I added 32. So I think that's pretty straightforward. Let's go and have a look at the output here. And I'm hoping that my output makes a bunch of sense. All right, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius. Hey. And 32 degrees Celsius is about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 89.6. I reckon I'm close enough. So I've used the formulas correctly, I would suggest. I wonder if you got this and how close you got. You might have tried some different values. Maybe you'd have to go and check your answers via a temperature table. And of course, you've got cell phones which also do temperature conversion, haven't you? All right. Well, that brings us to the end of your questions on homework. Right. That brings us to the end of this video on revision for your homework from yesterday.